So, hello, Professor. Thanks for giving me this opportunity to make this project. So, it's the title of my project is Work from Home and COVID-19 Trajectories of Endpoint Security Management in the Security Operations Center. So, my name is Jayant and my WIU ID is 922358627. So, coming to introduction, so we all know that the COVID-19 pandemic has caused a significant changes in like how we use internet, mainly because many people started working from home. The shift to remote work has brought both benefits and challenges to the organizations. So one of the major challenges is ensuring the security of their networks and data. To tackle these security risks, organizations have strengthened their security monitoring and capabilities. They need to be proactive in identifying and responding to the potential security threats, especially with the employees working from various locations outside their office setup. So personally, it happened to me when I used to work back from my home. I used to get many spam emails, malicious emails within the context of COVID-19, but our organization has followed like few security measures to tackle these incidents proactive in a proactive manner. So this is where like security operations centers come into play. So it's like a central hub that handles an organization's cybersecurity. They monitor the networks and system 24/7 to detect the any security attacks. Oh, it acts as like a first line of defense against cyber threats and work tirelessly to keep the organization safe basically. And another crucial aspect of this security is endpoint security. Endpoints are like devices like laptops, desktop, and mobile phones that employees use to access in organization's network. Basically, today everyone's using the smartphones in their organization. It's like it's became like part of our life. Ensuring the security of these devices is essential because they can cause vulnerable to attacks when they used for personal activities as well, when they have given it for the official purposes. So to protect this sensitive and confidentiality information of the organizations needs to continuously monitor these endpoints. By doing so they can detect any unusual or like harmful activities on these devices, take appropriate measures to safeguard the organization's information. Um, it can basically, like a long story short, the introduction I can say as like COVID-19 has led to an increase in the remote work, which also presented new security challenges for organizations. So, to address this risk, organizations strengthen their security monitoring capabilities. And here, the SOC plays a critical role in this. Furthermore, like monitoring and securing the endpoints used by the employees are very important to protect sensitive data from potential security threats. Coming to the second slide, this is the research questions of the study. So the main purpose of this study is to answer several questions related to work from home scenario during the COVID-19 pandemic. Like if you see the first point, that will tell us the impact on real world security environments during a crisis. So the study aims to explore how real-world security environments were affected during the crisis during the COVID-19 pandemic. It seeks to understand the changes in security dynamics, potential vulnerabilities, and the overall impact on organization security setups. And the second one will be like we can say it as reaction of existing security tools and security analysts during work from home. So basically, these researchers wants to investigate how security tools and practices used by organizations reacted to the security issues those are arose during the work from home period. So they are interested in understanding whether the existing security infrastructure was well equipped to handle the sudden surge in remote work and the associated security challenges. Moreover, the study aims to gain insights into how security Analysts cope with the new and evolving security threats in a remote work environment. The challenges faced by SOC during the COVID-19 pandemic, they play a critical role in monitoring and defending an organization's network, and the researchers aim to focus on unique obstacles faced during the shift to remote work. And it also has some effects on endpoint security management with the SOCs. The researchers also seek to understand how switch to work from home impacted the endpoint security management within the SOCs, with employees accessing the organizational networks from various remote endpoints from the laptops, desktop, mobiles. The study aims to explore like how SOC teams managed and secured these devices and monitored them effectively, and what are the security measures that has took basically by the organizations, because it may contain like a confidential and sensitive data of the organizations. Um, so by addressing these questions, the study aims to provide like valuable information into the security implications of remote work during COVID-19 pandemic. So it will help organizations understand the challenges and adapt their security measures to ensure the data and network protection in similar crisis situations. The third slide will be like the background of endpoint security management. So in the background, here, the researchers used a combination of to gain research methods to gain a deep knowledge and the experiences faced by SOCs during the COVID-19 pandemic. The first one will be the historical analysis. The researchers looked at the past records, data, and trends related to SOCs operations and security incidents. So the historical context provided valuable insights into how uh, SOC functioned before the pandemic and how it adapted during the crisis. And coming to the second point, it's called as ethnography, where it involves observation and documentation of social and cultural behaviors of a specific group or an environment. For this study, a field worker was actively involved in associates' day-to-day activities for a period of 34 months. So they integrated into the associate team and collected the detailed field notes during this time. So this way, it allowed the researchers to truly experience the associate's dynamics, decision-making process, and communication stand. So, in the fieldwork and observation, like the 34-month fieldwork, as I said earlier, which allowed the researchers to witness the SOC's responses to various security incidents, organizational changes, and the impact of COVID-19 pandemic in real time. The long-term observation provided an extensive and in-depth knowledge of SOC's environment and challenges. They also conducted interviews with the SOC analysts, to explain it more clearly. The researchers conducted interviews with SOC analysts to gain valuable insights into their experience during the COVID-19 pandemic. The interviews provided first-hand accounts of how SOC analysts dealt with sudden shift to remote work and security issues that emerged during this time. So by employing all these three, the study aimed to like paint a comprehensive and detailed picture of the effects of COVID-19 pandemic on SOC operations and the challenges encountered. The rich and like the varied data collected through these methods help the researchers gain a in-deep knowledge of SOC's adaptation to the remote work way and the impact it had on endpoint security management. This in-depth knowledge can provide valuable recommendations for improving the security measures in the future crisis scenarios or to the current scenarios, basically. The next slide discusses about the literature review and the related work. So, in this study, the researchers built upon their previous research concepts on security operation centers and security management, taking into the account the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic on these areas. To understand the patterns of endpoint control in current associates during work from home, the researchers examined various resources, including RFC, which is called as Request for Comments, and ACM, Association for Computing Machinery, and IEEE, also called as IEEE, Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, digital libraries, and more. These sources provided insights into how endpoint security was being managed in SOCs during work from home period. The study also touched the concept called grounded theory method, a research approach that had been used in previous works. GTM was used to assess the interviews conducted with SOC analysts. This concept has proven valuable understanding in the user views of security and modeling the analyst burnout in previous research, making it relevant for the current study. For operational insights into the SOC during the COVID-19 pandemic, the researchers analyzed ticketing systems, tools, and deployments used by the SOC. This analysis provided valuable information on how the SOC functioned and adapted during the work from home period. As remote work began, the main sources of communication shifted to email and Microsoft Teams, which indicates that the change in communication channels also brought by the pandemic, because that's how we are going to communicate with our coworkers or colleagues, team members, basically. So, by combining insights from previous research concepts, analyzing various sources, and using the grounded theory method, the study aimed to provide a comprehensive understanding of the challenges and the changes experienced by SOCs and security management during the COVID-19 pandemic, and which led to the transition to the remote work. The data collected from ticketing systems and communication tools allowed the researchers to gain operational perspectives and draw conclusions on the impact of the pandemic on the SOC operations. And coming to the next slide, it's the methodology overview, where the study approaches a comprehensive research approach, combining historical analysis, ethnography, and fieldwork to investigate the role of SOCs in endpoint management during the work from home scenarios. So the methodologies used are historical analysis. As I said in the previous slide, the researchers conducted a historical analysis to understand the long-term trends in SOCs. They utilized resources such as RFC documents, ACM, IEEE, and the second one will be like ethnography and framework. The field worker was actively involved in the SOC environment for a prolonged period of like 34 months. During this time, they closely observed day-to-day operations and activities within the SOC. So the field worker collected extensive field notes, capturing over 500 employee discussions. This approach allowed the researcher to gain in-depth knowledge of SOC dynamics and decision-making process. GTM, also called as grounded theory method. The researchers used like GTM to analyze the field notes collected during the field work. And also the last one will be like interviews for verification. To ensure the validity and reliability of the information extracted through GTM, two rounds of live 30-minute interviews were conducted with 8 SOC employees. These interviews serve to validate the findings and provide additional insights into the SOC's functioning during the work from home period. Ethnography with like multiple SOCs. In addition to 34 months of observation in a specific SOC, the researchers questioned 7 other SOCs. So this ethnographic approach allowed them to gather meaningful information from multiple SOC environments, ensuring a comprehensive and diverse perspective. And the next slide will be uh, this is like the detailed research methodology. The study's primary sample, the detailed research methodology, it's basically more of the slide what I explained earlier. And so this is the total sample and population involved in the study. So the primary sample for this study is Security Operations Center, responsible for seeing the critical data security operations in our organizations with like more than 30,000 customers and employees. The SOC has two L3 and L4 managers, like the level 3 and level 4, whose primary responsibility is planning futures security operations. Three level abstractions responsible for incident management, alert remediation, and security engineering, and three level 2 analysts. The eight internal SOC employees participated in two rounds of on site semi structured interviews, each lasted 30 minutes. The researchers conducted a quantitative survey of seven other SOCs to explain the ethnographic findings. These participants represent seven different SOCs with a range of user groups, funding sources, activities, policies, and the departments. Key concepts and theories: endpoint security management. This includes monitoring and securing client devices to access to corporate networks and resources. SOCs, also called as Security Operations Center, industrial, government, academic organizations use SOCs to manage their networks and to defend against cyber attacks and maintain regulatory compliance. They are complex structure with different names, processes, and challenges. Working from home, this is also called as a remote work, which has surged due to the COVID-19 pandemic, which has led to this shift. And there was a huge surge in the work from home users. This has prompted like many organizations to strengthen their endpoint security monitoring capabilities. Zero trust perspective. Instead of controlling all endpoints from a network centric perspective, adopt a zero trust perspective, which involves restricting user access to specific resources, usually based on semantic information. So the results tell us that the study found due to COVID-19 pandemic and due to work from home has caused many problems in the SOCs. The researchers found new issues in the IT industries in form of automation in the endpoint security management. The shift to work from home has increased communication via digitally and video calls. Many malicious emails have been found with the name of COVID-19 mentioning in the emails. Few projects were done faster and few were done slower, and some projects were still stuck where it was due to some unforeseen circumstances. There were many increase in meetings from other departments like security analysts with employees on a different department. Maximum of all these jobs in the domain saw and productivity increase, except for the ones who said that production job has been turned into an operation job. The study also said that seven SOCs who have completely worked in a remote environment, where three of them support complete work from home when it started, and four of them support a hybrid work from home structure. Like the hybrid work from home says that the employee needs to work in office like twice or thrice a week, and the remaining days he can work in home. Implications of the study findings are prove that during COVID-19 pandemic, the transition to work from home has caused many issues to the operations to SOC, like the increase of video calls and digital communication has affected SOC's operation, where this change is having implication for SOC's operation in a work environment. The SOCs are also found were monitoring got many malicious emails with COVID-19 content, which suggested that SOCs must be well aware in advance and be ready for the security threats in the future. Few projects are seen completing fast, a few slow, and few projects are not operating at all which caused an implication for project management in SOCs during a crisis. The study tools many important implications for on the experience they had during the COVID-19 pandemic, where these implications are mainly focused on preparing SOC operations for the long term and the issues they may face in the future. So the other important limitations is limited to one SOC. The other important limitation, second one, is finding patterns in history for the events for two or more occurring simultaneously in historic data. To overcome this, researchers have used ethnographic method to prove an evidence of a SOC has been changing during the COVID-19 remote work environment. The researchers have chosen participants for the study who are easily available and ready to participate to create a slight bias in the gathered sample and who are willing to take part in the research. The researchers would like to know if their observations from one SOC can be applied to other similar places. The researchers have also faced challenges with user privacy when dealing with continuing access to the endpoint devices like laptops, smartphones, or desktop for monitoring in detail and observe the behavior and actions. Suggestions I can give for the future research, the study tells us the future research must concentrate on long-term effects to provide valuable information like how SOC can respond to new issues and challenges. The future research must also focus on user privacy when access to endpoint devices is required for monitoring and behavior and user activity purposes. The future study must also keep an eye on how SOC can manage the security concerns and be ready for advanced cyber threats related to ongoing pandemic or events. Also, the area of future research also needs to be focused on increasing meetings that affect SOCs analysts in their performance, in their context of cyber security, and tasks associated with productivity. Conclusion and the importance of research. This is the final slide of my presentation. So the study tells us the impacts of COVID-19 that led to remote working environment and endpoint security management, where work from home has affected SOC's operations and SOC's monitoring email got many malicious emails with COVID-19 content. The study tells us that SOCs needs to be prepared in advance because we never know what type of crisis that can occur in future. The researchers saw some projects were completed faster and some were slower and some were not progressed at all due to the reprioritization. And finally, the research does really matter because it provides valuable information on how SOCs can be implemented in various work patterns and be ready for the future events or pandemics. Additionally, it also explains on the requirement of extra research in the long-term impacts of the remote work environment in the SOCs and security administrator. So thanks for giving me this opportunity to uh, give a detailed explanation about my presentation, Professor. It's been a good learning experience for me. I have really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.